Good morning. This is Casey Strohmayer with Women of Vision with your, trying to figure out where the camera is. The episode 17 for Women of Vision. We are here today with Dr. Brian Baas. Baas. And he is actually our first male that we have interviewed, and we are excited to have him. Hi, Maurice. Thanks for watching. Maurice is our founder of Women of Vision, and she's the one that got us all started, and we're really excited to be a part of this because we have learned a lot, grown together, and it's all about women empowering other women. So I'm going to go ahead and start by reading the mission statement and our vision. Women of Vision is a movement. We are women empowering women locally and globally. We connect female professionals and entrepreneurs to fuel a fundamental paradigm shift from competition to collaboration, apathy to accountability. Collectively, we will encourage powerful women to become change agents in our community and throughout the world. Hi, Michelle. Here is our vision. Together, Women of Vision will promote, support, motivate, and empower each other to achieve our dreams. With a spirit of integrity and excellence, we will motivate and thrive, activating our unique abilities. By empowering each other, we will not only achieve our personal and professional goals, but positively affect our communities economically, ethically, and socially, to then duplicate success in women throughout Reading and beyond. Hey, Carrie. It's good to see everybody on here. We'll wait another few seconds for people to join. And please ask questions if you have anything to ask, and we'll get started in a minute. So I'll go ahead and do you have your...
This is actually my schedule.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have it right here. So I want to formally introduce Dr. Baas to you. I said that correct?
Yeah, I just go Brian.
Brian?
Yes.
Dr. Brian?
No, just Brian.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me.
I usually leave the doctor for our physicians in town.
Oh, okay.
So.
That's great. So Brian actually grew up in Reading, right?
Yes. Well, I grew up here. I moved up here from Southern California, born in Los Angeles, just like a lot of Southern California, and then moved up to Reading here when I was in third grade. So I was in third grade, and then moved out of here in the ninth grade. Moved back down to Southern California. My dad found a job down there. So.
Okay. So Brian went to Junction and Palisadro, and then, like you said, moved to Southern California, Escondido, and northern San Diego County. He went to high school and junior college in the San Diego area, and went to Fresno State in 1992, and then immediately moved to Reading. So his accomplishments, he has a degree in physical therapy that he got in 1992. He published in the Physical Therapy Journal and a study on ankles.
Yes, it was a study on ankles.
And he's a co-owner of Western Physical Therapy Incorporated, and the owner of Anderson Physical Therapy, and co-owner of QualMed Precision Incorporated, correct?
Yes.
So let's see, Marie says I will have to step out. Okay, well, we'll see you when you come back, Maurice. A lot of people will be coming on to watch this later, which is awesome, so go ahead and leave any comments later if you're watching the replay. Hi, Tina. So, Brian, you grew up in Reading and then went to LA, came back. Which area did you feel that you felt more at home?
Northern California. So born in the very busy Los Angeles area, and I know the area. And then came up here for a short time, was about 4 or 5 years with my folks. Mm-hmm. And then moved back down to the San Diego area. And I enjoy the San Diego area. I know it very well, you know. Mm-hmm. And then as soon as I got out of college, I chose Northern California for a couple of reasons. Was I found a job up here, mm-hmm. and I just enjoy what the area has to offer.
Yeah.
And so that's why I moved to this area and haven't moved since. So
Nice.
And I don't have any plans to move. I'm well established here, so.
Oh, great. Yeah, it's a beautiful area, and San Diego's a great place to visit, so it's awesome that you know the area and you can.
It is, actually. I do more things in San Diego now than I ever did living there.
Yeah.
I can travel down there and come back. I can stay in a hotel. It's kind of nice, and go out to eat, whatnot, and come back up here and relax when I get back up here.
So what is it that you like most about the Redding area? Is it the community, or just that you've established your profession here?
Yeah, when I first moved here, I really moved here initially because of the outdoor activities, and I really enjoyed using the lakes and mountains and whatnot. And as time progressed and as the city has kind of changed over the years, that is becoming more, I feel there's more community involvement, and I'm starting to know, I've been here a long time, so I'm starting to know more and more people in the community here, and it just feels like home to me. So
yeah, that's awesome. And Tina says she's from SoCal herself. That's her home. She's one of our members, Women of Vision.
Ah, okay, yes. What part of Southern California?
He wants to know what part, Tina. So today Brian will be talking about sports injuries, and we had talked about you talking about how to prevent sports injuries. So can you talk about that?
Yeah, and I think that we're going to talk mostly about sports injuries when it kind of pertains to women. That's our target audience here. And there's multiple types of sports injuries. Because, of course, in high school, the types of injuries that we get are a lot different than when we're 30, 40, and 50 years old. The type of injuries that we get, sports injuries, when we're 30, 40, and 50, are more weekend warrior kind of activities, from running, overuse injuries, kayaking, tendonitis in the shoulder, and even sometimes, even not sports injuries, but even kind of work injuries that are kind of overuse injuries that can kind of fall in line with sports style injuries, but they occur at work.
Yeah, I had a kayak injury about 2 or 3 years ago. I didn't know what I was doing. I was with a bunch of friends, and they're like, oh, let's go down Trinity. And they were letting water out, and I went over a rock. I think we all hit the rock. And I went under, almost lost my kayak. So, I have issues with my neck, and I don't know if that made it worse, but, I have some tremors with my head shaking, and when I get nervous, or like right now, you'll probably see it shaking a little bit, but, so, yeah, that was scary.
Yeah, that's absolutely can be. I mean, that's, I've seen cases where someone's kayaking. I haven't actually been there, but of course read of cases and see cases where someone's kayaking and actually can break their neck because they flip the kayak and hit a rock. Those are not the good cases. I mean, and some of the kayak injuries are even on the Sacramento River where it's pretty mellow for the most part, but they can get shoulder injuries from, if they're improperly pulling the paddle or whatnot. So you can get those. And probably the most common injuries that I'm seeing, sports injuries, when it comes to women between 30 and 50, 60, are caused from running. Running's there's a big community of runners in this area, and it's love to see it. I mean, we have these excellent trails and for men and women to get out and run and get fit. So, but at the same time, we see a lot of injuries from that. So,
do we have any runners out there that are watching? Even if you're watching the replay, you can let us know with a thumbs up or comments. Tina says she's from Glendora.
I know where Glendora is.
So, back to the running. Is there? What do you recommend for runners to prevent injury or like?
I think one of the real important things about running is where we see probably a lot of injuries is when someone they say, oh, I need to lose a few pounds and I really want to start running. It looks like so much fun. These people are doing these half marathons and they're having a great time, that they go out too quickly.
They need to train.
They need to train. They need to start off by walking first. You can walk a mile, and then the next, 2 weeks later, you're walking about 1.5 miles. I like to say no more than about a 10% increase per week, not just per session, but per week. And that helps build the body up, getting used to that kind of activity. And then stretching is horribly important. You know, you're doing your quad stretches and your hamstring stretches and your calf stretches. Those are really important. And even your upper body, that's real important to stretch, get those arms stretched out a little bit too.
Yeah. Hi, Haley. Haley has joined us. I know Haley works out.
Hello.
Haley, are you a runner? She's a young gal that likes to exercise and go to the gym. So what other type of sports injuries do you see most common? Like you said, runners, but is there any?
Yeah, a lot of runners. Other sports injuries you see. You know, probably for our younger populations, a little bit more, you know, they playing basketball or tennis. Tennis, you'll see a sprained ankle on occasion, or even tennis elbow. But tennis elbow doesn't necessarily mean that you got it from tennis. It's actually very common. Using the mouse on your computer can get a tennis elbow.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny that it's really, you know, it's not sports on a computer, but it's probably seen a little more often actually using a mouse than actually tennis for tennis elbow.
Right.
Kind of things. And, you know, important things with tennis elbow to take care of, how we take care of that is a lot of stretching. So you do some wrist stretching, ice, and a little massage in that area. Even someone can do it on their own, a little massage, and really help the tennis elbow out.
Okay. Haley said she had an ankle injury, so she doesn't run as much, but she runs a little bit. Running for wine doesn't count.
It does count, actually.
Oh, that's
if you're in Napa.
Yeah, there you go.
I've gone down to Napa, and we'll actually do cycling kind of up and down the Napa Valley and do a little bit of running. I've done the half Ironman, was called the Vine Man down there, so and did some running in
cool.
the Napa. It was gorgeous.
I bet. I love connecting. All right. Stretching is important, yes, and you don't do it enough.
We tend not to do it enough, especially when we don't do it enough is after our run. We always just say, "I'll forget this. I'm heading for a glass of wine or whatever."
You've done your workout.
But it is important is to do that cool down and a little bit of stretching afterwards. In fact, it's real important. Before someone gets on a run, it's important to stretch, of course, before the run, but we would walk or even jog for a few minutes first to get warmed up a little bit and then stretch. So,
okay.
And the older we are, the more important it is to stretch. When we're young, there's some controversy on kids and stretching, whether they should stretch or not. And so you see articles that go both ways.
I always wondered if you should stretch before or after, because I do yoga sometimes before, but should you do yoga after?
You know, stretching before and after, you know, I don't know how old you are, I'm not going to guess. But
I don't mind telling you, I'm 42. So.
Oh, there we go. But it is important to stretch a little bit before, a little bit after, but warm up a little bit first before you stretch. You get a much more effective stretch being a little bit warm than just getting out of the car and stretching real hard and going on a 3-mile run. So.
Okay. What did Haley say? How do you feel about this sauna?
Well, a couple things about sauna. This is the the legal answer on that is, of course, you have to be good cardiovascular health. If you're not good cardiovascular health and you go into a sauna, it can be really hard on your system. In cases, sometimes it can give you a heart attack. But probably not talking about that group or that demographic. And so saunas can be very good, but the really important thing about sauna is to stay hydrated. You can go in there in sauna, and if you get dehydrated and you go off to a run, you can cause a lot of cramping, which will pull a muscle, you can tear a muscle, that kind of thing. So be careful with it. Do I use saunas? On occasion, it's kind of fun. Yeah. But not on for me, I don't do it on a regular basis, but it's definitely not unhealthy. There's even some studies that say that, you know, use some detoxifying, you know, by sweating it all out.
I've done the infrared sauna. Yeah. So do you agree with the infrared, or is there a better kind of sauna?
I really don't know between the two of those, whether it's steam or an infrared. I think that you still get the same effect of it with sweating, and that's what it is, trying to open your pores.
Or just doing a good workout and sweating.
That's probably even healthier for your cardiovascular system.
Okay.
So.
Good point, yes. Are there any other questions for Brian about sports injuries or physical therapy in general? You can go ahead and leave it in the comments, and if you're watching later, I will look at them later and then ask Brian if there are questions, and then we can answer those for you. Is there anything else?
Yeah, one of the things that I see also in women, very, very common injuries are neck injuries. And
that's me.
Yeah. and I see a lot. I bet probably 40% of my practice, maybe 35 to 40% is neck injuries. Mm-hmm. And it's typically a little higher you've seen than in men, women and men, is just kind of how we're built structurally, and also our jobs. That we see a little bit more women have more desk-style jobs, mm-hmm. That real rounded forward positioning, that kind of thing. Right. Probably one of the more important things that we can do to help prevent that is good posturing.
Yeah.
And making sure our ergonomic, or our that's kind of the popular term, ergonomic stations, mm-hmm. Are proper, right. So we stay upright. One of the things I highly encourage for our neck patients is using a lumbar roll. It'll get someone to sit up a little bit better, okay, and reposition their neck. And just a lumbar roll can help out a lot. It sounds funny, just a towel.
Yeah. Roll it in half. Mine started when I was young in high school. I was a cheerleader and fell, and then, bouncing up and down, and snowboarding when I was younger, fell and hit my head. So I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that can contribute to all that over years. Absolutely, and these little things can add up over time, even though they don't seem like a big deal at the time, mm-hmm. but they do tend to add up over time. So yeah, and that's where it's important. These things, we can't stop that addition process, but we can, when it comes to those kind of injuries, but we can help prevent them by using good posturing and mm-hmm. continue on stretching, and we can keep our mobility throughout our life. I don't think there's anybody out there who hasn't had kind of injury. Yeah. So and so it's important to do your stretching and be good posture, kind of thing. Yeah, I know. Tina says swimming is my new safest way to exercise. Do you have any advice? Don't drown. Lots of advice on swimming. Again, swimming, good for stretching. If you have neck issues, one of the things I've seen is in swimming technique, you will you rotate on an axis, and so when you kind of come through, or you lift your arm up to take a breath in that air pocket, is you rotate a little bit more, and that'll help shoulders. That'll help your neck from getting injured. Is rotate a little bit more. It tends to slow you up in the pool a little bit. So if you're trying to get speed, you don't want to over rotate on that. Mm-hmm. But by rotating it, it impinges the shoulder less. You'll have a much better, or the shoulder will be able to move freer on that. So okay. The other thing too is keep your head down in the water as much as you can. When you're swimming forward, if you tend to want to look up a little bit, that can cause a lot of neck problems. Yeah. And so you got to keep looking at the bottom of the pool. Okay. It's hard to do. It takes a lot of time to kind of learn that. Mm-hmm. But for someone who's a fairly accomplished swimmer, that's pretty normal for them. So. Okay. She says, what do you think about burning nerves? She has several neck issues. I know she's had. They do work. They seem to, what I've seen most of the time when they come out is between, you get relief for 3 to 9 months, and then it comes back, and they got to redo it, and so that procedure hasn't been out that long, so we don't see a 5, 10, 20-year studies on it. I just don't mm-hmm. see those because it's fairly new procedure, but it's not so new that it's not well done. There's several doctors in town here that do a very good job of that. So it is an option. I prefer, on my end of things, recommendation is epidural injections. I'd go first. Okay. Of course, physical therapy, traction, mm-hmm. And epidural injections before I move to burning the nerves, okay. Kind of thing. So, hope that answers your question, Tina. Brian is working today, so we have to watch the time. I don't have a watch.
Oh,
So
me neither. That's a great thing right now.
you get to relax and just answer questions, right? Okay, so do you have any... Hi, Nemi. Nice to see you on here. Do
Hello.
you have any tips on business as far as a lot of these women are either in business, have their own business, or are wanting to start their own? You're a physical therapist. Do you have any advice on how to become a good business person, or how to...
You know, I know in my business, our business, we have multiple practices kind of throughout the North State. From Sacramento to here, we have 14, and we're no better than our employees, and so hiring practices are very, very important. And taking care of issues right away. You know, it's like children. I hate to say it, it's almost like children a little bit. If you let things kind of slide, then these problems can become bigger and bigger and bigger, where if we take care of them immediately, they're small problems and they're much easier to take place. And people like it a lot better.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting to correct or take care of them, or even praise. You know, I think, you know, again, this is gender a little bit, but women tend to do a really good job at praising. Men, not nearly as much so. We're very kind of, this is the way it is. And so we hire a lot of women who are leads in our company. And they each of them do such a really good job at that positive reinforcement part of the business. And so I learn from that almost daily.
Yeah, that's great.
So
that's important.
It is very, very important. But hiring practices are crucial in business, and knowing what your mission statement is. You know, ethics. I mean, I was listening to the mission statement, and those are fabulous. If a business takes that mission statement, they're going to do well.
Yeah.
On that. So.
Yeah, I agree. Hi, Geraldine. Thanks for joining and watching.
Hello.
I do a lot of that with my kids. You know, they have problems at school, or they're down about something. I'll just remind them that, you know, there's other kids that are probably feeling the same way, but their home life might not be as good as theirs, so they have to look at it and just, you know, I tell them they might be going through a hard time. You might be too, but just relax and know that everything will be fine.
Yeah, you know, that is true. You know, another really important thing, I think we have 120 employees now. And one thing we've really find is if we find someone's just isn't suited for a certain job, we try really hard to find another job, especially someone who's good personality, because you can't train personality, you can't train willingness. And so we will try as hard as we can to kind of get another seat on the bus, per se. And so we really try to work with the strengths of our employees. And that really important on that side. Everybody has something to give.
Yeah, makes everything go smoother and everyone happy, and making a better work day. So awesome, Geraldine. I look forward to meeting you. I am a Women of Vision member and do the Facebook Lives. My name is Casey Strohmayer, and we are here with Brian today. And do you work at Baas Physical Therapy as well, right?
Yes.
That's what I put as where you work. Okay.
So I just happen to be right today. I'm at Mountain View Physical Therapy because they have a need we have a therapist that's out, so I'm here today.
Okay, that's nice.
I will kind of bounce all over. I'll even go down to Sacramento
Oh, wow.
and work down there. That doesn't happen nearly as much, but because we do have management staff that takes care of our offices down there. So,
Jalen says, my son has jumper knees but wants to play sports again. Any advice? Do you want to get to her later on that, or do you have time to answer that?
You know, we can go through that now. Jumper's knee, as in Osgood Slaughters, that's generally the term that they use on jumper's knees, is Osgood Slaughters. If it's Osgood Slaughters, something that's really important with that is really good strengthen the quads up. And that's not a lot of deep knee squats because that can irritate it. The other thing too is during the irritation phase when someone's hurting a lot is to back off on sport. If not, it'll continue to get worse and worse and worse. So you've got to back off a little bit when that calms down, and that can be used ice, a little bit of stretching, and just backing off. It doesn't mean stopping. Don't have to run around in a wheelchair, nothing like that. And as soon as you get that calms down, and then really start strengthening the quads, the hips as well. It's really important to start strengthening, and that can, and they can have a completely normal sports career.
Nice.
Most kids that this happens to, they're fairly young in their sports career, so taking off 2, 3, 4 weeks is not going to hurt them.
Right.
You see a lot of coaches that's like, oh, you can't do that. Yes, you can.
Well, look at the rest of your life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Take a few
you
weeks
have a
off.
lot of, but yeah, they'll do fine. Everybody I've come across with jumpers knee has just done well.
Says awesome, thank you. Okay, do you have anything else you would like to add?
No, in our offices, or at least when I'm around, we really try to encourage if anybody has any questions or whatnot, you can come in and just talk to one of us real quick. Sometimes we have just a few minutes to say hi, and if you have a quick question, that kind of thing, just come on by and stop and say hi.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Good service offered.
Yeah, it's really important.
Okay, well, everyone, thank you for watching, and we hope that you will visit our Women of Vision Facebook page. It's Women of Vision Movement, and then our website is womenofvisionreading.com. And we have a podcast you can watch. It's Women of Vision Reading, and our Instagram page at Women of Vision Movement. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have an awesome day.
Boy.